What up, everybody? How are you guys doing today? If you do not know who I am, my name is RJ. Today we're covering alchemy of a happy life, but not just that, just like basically ways to alchemize anything that you may be experiencing that's undesirable, because anything can be transformed mentally, astrally, or physically. One of the things I wanted to cover today was like starting from the ground up, starting with the basics. So it's been a while since I kind of went back to the roots of these teachings. And what up, Bilbo Baggins? What up, Jade? What up, Abundance finds me 24/7? I love that name. Absolutely love that name. So yeah, one of the things I wanted to do was kind of cover some of the basic levels of understanding and practices to help everybody on their journey, because I don't think that's really, I haven't been covering it as much as I used to, because I've been doing a lot of the higher level practices, and that's been my primary focus. But I want to be able to share, some of the foundational groundwork with everybody. And, as always, if anybody has any questions or anything about anything that you may need to alchemize or change your relationship to allow your life to be a lot easier and for things to flow, that's the goal. Everything that we have in our experience, a part of us says that this is okay. Everything within our life, we subconsciously align ourselves to that. It's kind of like understanding the different parts of our mind, right? So we have the higher mind, or it's a super conscious mind, which is the realm of perfect ideals. Being this part of you is the highest level of your conscious awareness. Whatever you believe in, this is what you align yourself to. It's the realm of perfect ideals. So whether your ideals are negative, that's what you're going to get perfectly. If your ideals are positive, filled with love and joy and all the miraculous things, guess what? That's what you're going to get. This highest part of us is where we want to operate from, but understanding it and alchemizing all the lower aspects so we can achieve awareness of that higher aspect and then use it for the highest outcomes. That's the primary goal when it comes to alchemy and understanding the self. Remember, knowledge of self is what we're reaching for. It is hot as hell out here. I just want to let y'all know that. I can barely see my screen. I'm about to find somewhere to sit, and we're going to cover some of these topics. It's 9 a.m. and it is 95 degrees out here. Listen, I'm from Indiana. It do not go down like this where I'm from. So just wanted to share that. Jay says, I have a question. When many people ask for advice, do you feel it triggers your fire element? In what sense, right? So a lot of times people will ask for advice, and for me, for the most part, I'm not giving advice unless somebody asks for it, because it's not my place to say, hey, look, you should do this, or hey, whatever. But fire element, as far as what gets activated within me is, I always seek to help people. So that root of the passion that I have to teach people and to give them ways to alchemize their experience, that comes up to the surface for sure. And, even in this situation where I'm just talking and sharing my, what I've experienced and how to develop yourself, the fire most definitely comes up to the surface. But it's this fun type of fire element, and not so much a stern, highly concentrated level of fire, but most definitely that fun aspect comes up to the surface. And I'm almost to my seat with some shade. So give me a second. Let me readjust. That's good. All right. Boom. All right, can y'all see me okay? Can you hear me okay? I'm like 9 comments behind everybody, so let me scroll down here. What up, Jessica? How are you doing? So one of the things I wanted to cover, once again, we're going to be covering some of the foundational understanding of Hermetics and alchemy, because there's many different systems of alchemy, many different systems of magic, all types of ways to wrap your head around different concepts and ideas and practices for specific outcomes and everything else. I teach primarily Hermetics. It's not the only thing that I know, but it's the most, in my experience, the quickest and most efficient and fastest way for you to develop yourself and develop a healthy relationship between the intellect and the subconscious mind and the spirit and knowledge of self. And that's why I share it. And like I said, there's many other ways. I have plenty of friends who teach all types of other things. You know, a lot of people will connect to, you know, their God self, right? Through astrology or through, you know, all types of different ways. You know, some people do it through academics. Believe it or not, you know, this is something that I share, you know, pretty often because people don't see it as that, you know. Some people literally connect through academics. They get all their spiritual growth and evolution through university, you know, through schooling. And they may not call it their spiritual practice or anything like that, but all the elements are there. You know, 100% of the elements are there. It's just a part of our spirit. And, you know, we gravitate towards the things that's going to bring us the most growth in the most efficient way that we can make sense of right here, right now, where we are. So the goal is to look at right now, right here, where you are, have a realistic looking and understanding of who and what you are and where you want to go. And you can change that blueprint. You can change that karmic stream. You know, anything that you're experiencing that's undesirable and you do not want to experience, you can alchemize that. You can change that, but you have to take it upon yourself to want that, you know, and to understand and to know that you can have that, you know. So this is where the alchemy comes into play, because everything that we have in our experience is something that we subconsciously sign up for, or consciously sign up for. So understand your power. Do not give your power away. Do not give your power to external things, external devices or beings or anything like that. And I mean this. Working in the world of alchemy and magic, the majority, 99.9% of people who practice alchemy and magic and everything else, you know, they're connecting to astral things, or they do a lot of work within the astral, and you know, that's not where you want to be. The astral is the realm of subjectivity and many, many, many different minds. You know, it is not the one high, non-dual, you know, understanding infinite intelligence. It's the realm of duality. It's the realm of subjectivity. And many people, many practitioners, many teachers, and you know, that's where they dwell. And you don't want to have a subjective view of yourself and your reality. You want to have a universal view of yourself and your reality, so you can navigate accordingly. You don't want to be, you know, shrouded in, you know, the subjective, personified view of what you're experiencing. You want to see it on that higher level, and that's the goal: to move your level of awareness up to that super conscious mind. And you know, well, how do we do that, RJ? I'm glad you asked. This is where the alchemy comes into play. First, once again, you have to be able to see yourself, know thyself, you know yourself inside and out, you know the things that's sticking to you, you know, really take a look at. That's just for everybody. You know, today is the new moon. As a matter of fact, the new moon is like right now. Literally, like right now, right here in this second. I think it's the peak of the new moon, and we're about to start building this energy up from here on out for the next 2 weeks, right? So literally get a notebook and write down, these are the things I have going on in my life. I'm not even gonna go into the psychology of the black and white mirror of the soul. Literally, this is, you know, these are the things that I want in life, and prioritize it. List the thing from 1 to 10, or 1 to 5 if you don't want to make that big of a list. You know, 1 to 10. The top priority at the top, the lowest priority at the bottom. Okay, cool. All right, so these are the things in my life that are undesirable that I'm going to change. List 1 through 10 and prioritize it. These are the things I need to work on, you know, first. And you can look at it and get like an idea of, the things that you start to change your habitual relationship to the quickest, that will have the highest outcome. Say that you have bad sleeping habits and you go to sleep every night at like midnight, knowing you got to get up at like 5 a.m. If you change that, literally work on that first, everything else becomes easier. The strength of your mind, the ability for your for yourself to heal, you're going to feel better. The clarity of your mind, the clarity of your emotions will increase simply by getting enough sleep so your body can regenerate. So you can kind of look at the different habits and things that you have going on in your life, and undesirable things that you would like to change and alchemize. And that's like some of the beginning stuff that you can do that works very, very quickly and very, very efficiently. What up, baby kiss? What up, Captain Steve Rogers? John says, here we go. Glad to catch you live. Always bringing the vibes, wisdom. Oh, thank you. So listing stuff out like that is very, very easy. Once again, I've been teaching alchemy and magic and everything for a very, very long time, but alchemy and magic isn't always this like high level mystical things. Everything is magic. Every thought, every feeling, every action, every relationship that you have with everything is a magical, spiritual, energetic relationship that's happening there. And, looking at yourself and understanding yourself and your part in that relationship is how you can have very, very high outcomes with very, very low levels of spiritual awareness. It's just literally, what are you aware of and what are you paying attention to? Once again, everything that you do, you sign up for subconsciously. Everything that's a part of your experience is a part of you that says this is okay. And understanding that. So once again, if you're in an undesirable experience or situation, literally just contemplating, meditating on it. Why am I here? What is it that's allowing me to be here? If you're living with your parents and you're 30 and okay, cool, I had this and that or whatever, and I need to get out of this. What do you need to look at in order to overcome that? Not saying that anything's really wrong with that per se, but if that's the situation in which you do not want to be in, have a real good look at yourself. What do I need to change about myself in order for me to transcend this level in which I'm in? Because it's nothing external to you. It will never be anything external to you. Everything in your life, in order for you to change, you have to change within you. Nothing external to you first. If you want to, once again, leave your job because you feel you don't make enough or your job doesn't appreciate you, then what part of you says it's okay for you to be there? And you're giving away your power, your time, your energy into an entity that doesn't appreciate you or is going to help you get to where you want to be. It's not the job, it's you that allows yourself to stay in that situation. So look at the self. There's nothing external to you that's keeping you locked down or in the situation, And this is something that I really, really like to hone in on, because like coming from the hood, all the rap songs, it's we in the struggle and the man is trying to get us down and the system this and that or whatever, and it's not that at all. It's not that at all. On some level, are there things that were originally designed in order to keep certain people down? Yes, of course. But if you sign up for it, that's what you get. You don't have to accept it. Like I said, I'm where I'm from. I got homies and really close relatives and friends I grew up with that, 40, still living with their mom, same place, and, never really made anything out of their experience because they have that ideology. They have that ideal in which there's something external to them holding them down. And it's never that. It's never that, Instead of saying, okay, cool, these are the cards in which I'm dealt, allow me to play these cards so I can win this game. And the cards that you have are unique to you. Never look at anybody else's cards, because you're going to be highly disappointed because you don't have that person's cards. And this is very important to look at. Be very appreciative for where you are and who you are right here, right now, and use what you have to get to the next level, because that's all you have. We're not living in fairy tales. Even in the realms of magic, everything is causal. In the realms of alchemy, everything is cause and effect, and you can only use what you have. We don't live in fairy tales. We don't live in the realm of, oh, this external thing and that I would have in the future. No, right here, right now, the blessings in which you have, because everybody has them. There's nobody out there that is not blessed in some way and that has, everything that they need to get to where they need to go. It's whether or not you take that, take advantage of what you have and use it to get to where you want to go. And everybody can do it. Everybody can do it, but know yourself. Love yourself enough to not be in situations that don't serve you, right? Have the courage to look at your barriers and your fears and to break through them, because, our emotions are not real. They're sensory perceptions to give you information, but they are not real things, and they will change based off of your relationship to what you're paying attention to. They're not real. Are they valid? Yes, but they're not real. So, look at them. Break your barriers. The uncomfortable feelings, screw them. They're just feelings. Do you allow your feelings to rule over you by overly identifying with the physical body? And it's funny because somebody asked me earlier, and I'm going to answer some of these questions. Sovereign Soul, if you're still in here, says, how do you get out of duality? It's a vibrational scale in that. What up, Jake? It's a vibrational scale of that. So in the lowest level of the scale, we're overly identifying with the physical body. And this is why, you see a lot of teachings about, oh, you're not the body, or you're not your emotions, or you're not. That's the vibrational scale in a sense. If you're overly identifying with your physical body is going to rule you. Oh my God, this feels uncomfortable, so you don't do it. Okay. Oh my God, I really want to eat something. And then boom, your urges rule over you. It dominates your experience. Oh my God, I need to have sex or go, masturbate or whatever. And you just, your physical sensory system just dominates your entire experience. And that's the lowest level, Actually, I take that back. That's not the lowest level. The lowest level is something external to you dictating your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. That's the lowest level, because you're a slave to those things if you don't have enough concentration and willpower to transcend that. So it goes from something external that keeps you in a box, and you just have no willpower to overstand those forces that are affecting your thoughts and feelings and actions, right? And then the body sensory system, going up that vibrational scale. From there, it's deep belief structures. If that dictates your reality and dominates your experience, that's going up a little bit in the vibrational scale, but that most definitely is not where you want to be. That's an astral thing. Remember, everything that is astral is subjective and it's not real. Everything that is astral is not real. If you are connecting to, a psychic medium in which they're saying, okay, I'm going to go into the astral for this, get away from them. You might get an answer that works for you, but it's subjective and not real, literally. So, moving from your astral awareness and bringing your astral awareness into a purified state, that's how you begin to raise up that vibrational scale. But, you can look at it in many different ways. There's many different systems, many different ways to practice. There's many different ways to look at your belief structures, your emotional attachments, the things that your mind is attaching to, and to change it. And the easiest way to do it is to do it incrementally. You do not have to change the world in one day. Nobody can do that. But you start making incremental changes. Like I said, address, this is who I am. This is where I am. These are the pieces of the chessboard in which I'm playing with, and play those pieces. All right, that's all you have to work with. Okay, cool. Every day I'm going to do, take 10 minutes out and boom, concentrate. 10 minutes to, reflect on your emotions. 10 minutes to reflect on your relationships and where you're going to go. Have you worked on any of your goals today? And you just start incrementally. You don't have to do it for hours at a time, but a little bit of work here, it compounds as you continue to go. You make little changes in your psychology, little changes in your personality, little changes in who and what you are. And then 6 months later, you're in a completely different space. You are a completely different person. You do not have to change the world in a day. Rome was not built in a day, you know. And that's where, that saying comes from. You get there incrementally. So don't, overwhelm yourself with the idea of, oh my God, I have all this stuff I have to do and this is that. You just start. And this applies to everything across the board. This is universal. This applies to business. This applies to self-love. This applies to finances and your relationships and everything you can possibly imagine. You start making incremental changes to get to where you want to be, and then those changes just compound. You create habits. You create powerful habits to get to where you want to be. It's not just an overnight thing. You're developing the habits, and once those habits are set in stone, boom, you get to where you want to go. Everything in which is a major part of your experience right now is a part of your habits, your habitual level of thinking, your habitual level of feeling, your habitual level of action, and it becomes who and what you are and what you do on a daily basis. But this can be very, very powerful. Develop powerful habits, looking at the habits that you want to achieve. And one of the easiest ways to do this is, one, that air element aspect, the air element aspect of really studying and looking at people who are where you want to be. And this is the thing. This is the thing for everybody, wherever you're at right now, and whatever your inner genius is, there's people that want to be where you are. Right? So, look at people who are where you want to be. What do they do? What do they read? How did they get there? Right? And start, not mimicking or following them, but look at the habits in which they formed, and you start to form similar habits relative to your own personal path. And remember that anything that we consume, and I'm not just talking about food, anything that we consume mentally, emotionally, and physically, it becomes us. It becomes us. It becomes the driving force in our physical experience. So, if you're working on success or business, or, you want to, be an entrepreneur, read books on entrepreneurship, watch videos on entrepreneurship. It will become you. It will dominate your experience. If all you do is, scroll through TikTok all day and listen to funny videos, that's what your experience is going to be. You have some laughter, some this and that, some gossip in there, some drama, and that's what your experience is going to be. But if you read books and focus primarily on, okay, I'm working on success, and you're reading all the success books and stuff that have come before you, guess what? You have a very, very high chance of achieving that success. People that read all the gossip columns and stuff like that, they're shrouded in gossip. That's all they do is gossip, and that's what they live. So it's very important to understand what you're consuming and grounding your awareness in, and your emotions in, and your belief structures in, because that becomes you. And there's a time and a place for everything. One thing isn't primarily good or bad, even though, gossip it never really has a space. In order for you to understand gossip and transcend it, sure, you have to be in that space at one point in time, but you get what you give always. So if you're always giving your highest, and you're always giving, love, blessings, compassion, right, and seeking to grow and evolve, guess what? That's what you're going to receive. And the more that you focus on that, that's what the universe is going to give you. And you're going to surround yourself with other people who resonate with that same ideology. And then they inhabit that same realm of the perfect ideal of evolution and growth. So you could just do it, step by step. Once again, you don't have to change the world in a day. You don't have to, become this completely different person overnight. But incrementally, you do. Look at where you are now. 10 years ago, you would never thought, oh, this is who I would be and where I'm at in this situation. No matter what situation you're in, I guarantee you, 10 years ago, you couldn't have looked and said, this is going to be who I am. So if you consciously make the effort to make changes in your personality and your habits, then you have a very, very large degree of control over your reality in ways that most people don't even acknowledge or experience. Just by making simple things, and just by doing this process, you will outbeat 99% of people in your environment. you will be more successful than just by taking incremental, steps to get there. And then you share that with them so you can raise them up too. And the more that you can share that, the more everybody raises up together. And that's the goal. Especially, in the beginning, you're doing it for yourself. I want to be a better person. I want to get out of my situation. I want to, be healthy. I want to learn more. I want to, whatever it is. And then once you get to a certain level, then it expands to, okay, how can I give this to somebody else? Because naturally, our spirit wants to grow and evolve. It wants to, evolve at an accelerated rate. And the quickest way to do that is through sharing that and allowing the collective to raise up too. Because if you're the biggest fish in the pond, then you're going to suffer if nobody else is on your level. But if everybody is raising up and the collective is growing and growing and growing, right, you're not going to you're not going to be the one taking up all the space. Everybody's going to grow and evolve together. And that was probably like not the best analogy, but that's what came up. So I notice that my spirit reacts well to the sound of your voice. Thank you. You're welcome. And, once again, the things that you consume, right? The things that we consume becomes us. The light in which you're paying attention to. This is why every system, has different ways of wrapping their head around certain things, right? So everything is energy, everything is consciousness, everything is light. And everything that I share when I do these lives is the light of my mind. It's non-dual light. It's liberating light. And the reason why some people have different experiences and stuff just from tuning in and they get certain feelings or feel more liberated because this is the light that I'm sharing. And it's not just that, but because of my personal practices and stuff too, everything about me is liberation. Everything, just my field, my energy, and everything else. So when we experience others' light, we can feel it. It's a sensory thing. And if that light may be a little bit above your pay grade or something that's in resonance with your path and who and what you are and where you're going, then you're going to get those, those feelings of resonance and liberation. And it's a part of us that guides us through. That's why everybody, is here. Everybody that's here, you're meant to be here. So it's a part of you that seeks to liberate yourself, and that's why we're here. If you want to learn more and like really go down the alchemical magical path or whatever, check out the link in the bio. I teach my course right now. It's the Master Key series. It's a lot into it. It's like hundreds of videos, how to train your intuition, how to alchemize yourself, physically, astral, emotionally, mentally, how to develop more mental, spiritual strength, and how to elevate your mind to the point in which the insight mind really awakens and you start to develop your psychic abilities and everything too, so you get an inner knowing of whatever it is you put your mind on. And it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And your level of awareness is going to be equal to your spiritual maturity. And this is a universal thing. In the realms of alchemy and magic, that spiritual maturity goes from here to here very, very quickly. Remember that ascension is being an active participant in your own evolution. And this is how we ascend. Everybody and everything ascends or evolves, but the conscious act of willingly participating in your own evolution is what we typically engage in when we think about ascension. And in this system that I've developed, it happens very, very quickly. How do you see your own stuff? Because most of it you have to experience firsthand to fully understand it. Can't get it from a book. Nobody can tell you. Think about all the people that your relatives, your siblings, your partner, and you tell them, hey, you need to do this. And then they're just like, I don't understand what you're saying. We all have this. And because we can't see our own stuff, right? So everything that I teach is how do you see it yourself? A lot of the practices that we do are, I'll do the whole outline of this too. So, I started talking about the foundational work, so I'll cover a lot of that with everybody. So the first level of the foundational work is your magic journal, is understanding the magic journal, understanding your subconscious relationship to your magic journal. If you have a magic journal, treat it as the most sacred thing to you, and surrender to the things that you put into it, because it's going to reflect through your subconscious mind. Everything within magic is it's a type of placebo. And as always, placebo doesn't mean that something's not real. It means, how can we get the subconscious mind to move in accordance with this ideal, this concept, right? So the magic journal is that. The magic journal is for you to directly communicate with your subconscious mind in one of the ways, right? So that's level one. There's things you put into your magic journal: your vows, your precepts, your black and white mirror, your peak experiences, the things that you are working on and bringing into your experience, and you surrender to it. So that's a lot of the foundational stuff. From there, we go into the energy exercises. Now, the energy, all the Qigong practices that I teach are primarily for ascension. There's lots of things that you can do with your energy. Most of it that you see on the internet that people are doing, most of it won't help you in everyday situations. So when it comes to working with energy and understanding the different levels of consciousness and energy that you're working with, you have to equalize with it. So you're developing a very, very strong understanding and relationship to each level of energy, how to work with it, how they work individually, how they work in tandem, how to reprogram each part of your consciousness, and to work with the different levels of energy, because understanding this to a science allows you to have very, very high outcomes in very, very short amount of time, because you're in resonance with universal law and universal principles, and you can only get that through direct experience. And you can only get that through direct experience. And training Hermetics allows for any other magic that you practice, for you to understand it on a much deeper level, and for you to take a much deeper level of advantage of whatever else you're working on, because it's a universal system. It's not the only system, but understanding Hermetics allows you to excel in whatever it is that you engage in. And it's a literal thing. Whether it's career-wise, whether it's metaphysics, whether it's whatever it is, and when it comes to your family, literally it allows you to excel in whatever it is you put your mind on, because you understand it more. And it's through direct experience, and you get this expansion of consciousness, and you have these connections to all these different conscious fields, and you're expanding your level of awareness and raising up that vibrational scale, so you're sensitive to everything that's below you. And the more that you are dedicated to yourself and your own growth and evolution, the higher the outcome that you get relative to whatever it is that you're paying attention to and developing. So the energy exercise is really cool, because we're going into working with our vital energy, vital life force, connecting with the trees, building up higher levels of conductivity and fascia connections, so you can conduct higher levels of metaphysical forces. And this is very important, because if you're engaging in any other magical practices, or just anything in general, you have a much stronger connection to it than the average person. You're going to be radiating more light than the average person. You're going to have a larger amount of manifesting ability and connection throughout the cosmos, doing this type of development, other than, doing it some other way. So we take this vital energy, we connect to the trees, we can spread our consciousness into the consciousness of the trees and the forest. We can become the keeper of the forest. We are doing all these really beautiful, magical things. We are taking that energy, and not only are we using it to reprogram our DNA, but we're also using it to transform it, so we become sensitive to, our astral body and our astral awareness, and understanding our own astral stuff and the astral things that's bound to the light of our mind. And once you begin to do that and equalize with it, you gain a type of immunity to the negatives of the elements and in all the different astral levels. But you have to be willing to let those things go and to see them for what they are. And the more that you do that, this is where life gets really, really interesting, because you begin to understand the self more, your own personality traits, your own astral attachments, your own psychology, and then you begin to understand and see that within your reality and within other people, and you begin to understand everything else on a much deeper level. Remember, you can only know something to the level in which you know yourself. And I'm going to say that again. You can only know something to the level in which you know yourself. You can only know a person to the level in which you know yourself. If you don't know anything about, we'll keep it in this realm, magic and alchemy, you can never see somebody and be like, oh, they're a practitioner. But if you know that within yourself, oh, wow, yeah, I can see, where that comes from or why they do this. And it's all in their field, right? But you can only know your reality to the level in which you know yourself. And the essence of who you are is awe. It's literally, it's literally, the way I usually explain it is the essence of your spirit is a vibrational match to the universal mind, to the mind of the universe, or God, essentially. And I don't really like using the word God because a lot of people have a lot of subconscious relationships and ideals about what God is. So the universal mind, the intelligence of nature, or the all, or in Western metaphysics is the tetragrammaton, right? Yade Vade, all types of different names, and some of the Western systems, I think it's like 72 names of God, but the Most High or infinite intelligence, the essence of you is that. And, how do we raise our awareness to that level instead of overly identifying with? Once again, what led to this was, people overly identifying with something external to them, right? And that dominates their experience. People overly identify with all types of things, oh my God, identity and gender and this and that. And that becomes their whole personality. That becomes them. It literally dominates their reality and it becomes their reality. And then all the people that are in that realm, that's who they surround themselves with. They find themselves in situations and on TikToks and YouTube channels and stuff with those same people because that's the realm in which they live in and which they're vibrating in, and this applies to everything. If something's external to you and you overly identify with it, that becomes your experience. And you can think about this on even a different level. If you play sports and you identify as I am a tennis player, then that's going to dominate your experience. It's going to dominate your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, the karmic stream in which you engage in through that identity. And you're going to find yourself resonating with other tennis players. You'll be out in public and some random person start talking to you. Oh yeah, you play tennis? Yeah, I play tennis too. And that's, that's what your reality becomes, and that's something external. I play tennis. I'm not a tennis player. I am a high, whatever psychology you want to use, right? When it comes to the body, same thing. People overly identify with the body. Oh, I'm this pain in my back, or I'm this, or I'm, whatever it is, and that dominates their experience. So we're raising up this vibrational scale until you come into resonance with the essence of your spirit, the light of your mind, and you can recognize the light of your mind and that part of you that is the divine essence and intelligence of nature. And that's where you want to be. That's the non-dual state in which you want to be, and then even transcend that. So that dominates your experience because, life is magical. Everything is magic. Yes, Jessica, yes, we are infinite. And, it's up to you how you want to relate to your experience. You have that power. So don't give that power away to external things or concepts or ideas or any specific philosophy. You are infinite. One of the affirmations that we used in our new moon ceremony last night is, I do not limit infinite intelligence by seeing limitations within myself, because you are that. So never see limitations within yourself. Understand that you are infinite, and you get what you give, and don't put yourself into a box. Always seek to liberate yourself, always. But when it comes to this course, this is what you're learning how to do. You're training your intuition, so intuitively you get to where you want to go, and you're programming it all. And things just happen. The experiences will reflect this idea and concept of I'm tuning into my highest, and I am going to liberate myself completely and reach nirvana and be of service and share my path of ascension and become the highest level of whatever it is that you engage in, and all of your experiences will lead to that. Remember, the identity, or the id entity, right? The identity is, I am, and whatever follows that. I being the all, right? M meaning the sum total of your experiences, and whatever follows that mantra. That's how you lay the path in which you experience. So, make it infinite. Don't make it this small thing, this narrow view, and overly identify with just a little minute aspect of what you are, because you're infinite. Don't put yourself into a box. Very, very important for us to look at these concepts and ideas, because it affects you in every way possible: mentally, astrally, physically, emotionally, financially. What you identify with and as becomes your karmic stream. Some people identify as, poverty, and that's what they live, and they think impoverished thoughts. And that doesn't mean that something external to them is keeping them there, or they don't have the skills to make money. No, they're just living in the realm of poverty. And that's how they view the world, and have impoverished experiences. And I mean this, and this is the thing, because some of the most influential and wealthiest people of all time grew up poor. America was built by people that grew up poor. I mean, like dirt poor. I mean, like all the restaurants, all these big businesses and global companies and stuff like that. There's very few of them that were created by somebody who grew up with money. Right? So this concept of idea of, oh, if you grow up poor, you're just going to stay poor. That's an ideal you can stick to, but it's not real. It's not real. So not putting yourself in a box, seeing, once again, the cards that you've been dealt and using those cards to get to where you want to go. Because, where I'm from, there's grown ass dudes still living with their mama, 40, 50 years old, everything ain't never left. Right? But I also have friends and buddies that own, corporations. Got 500,000 followers on Instagram, and got a whole warehouse of stuff that they're shipping out, that I grew up coming from the same hood, same, right down the street, right next door to each other. So what's the difference? The difference in psychology, right? Our environment plays a role, but your environment does not rule you or regulate, the outcomes in your experience, unless you allow it to. So don't allow anything to hold you back. Use everything that's in your experience as a trampoline. Bounce off of it and reach the next level. Don't become a victim of your circumstances. Become transcendent of your circumstances, because that's why you're in those circumstances. And you can look at anybody who makes, thank you. You can look at anybody who's like written books, on self-help and wealth and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Just about none of them grew up, on the other side of that. In order for them to get there, they had to be in the lowest end of it and transcend that, and boom, this is how I did it. Or this is how I can share my awareness and my story, my personified experience to overcome and transcend, this space and where I've experienced. And, everybody can have this. Everybody has this. So, love yourself, know yourself, and always do what's right for you. Always. And expect nothing less of the people around you. And if you cannot make somebody do anything, you cannot. So always do what's best for you, and share that thought of advancement and evolution with the people nearest to you. And if they do not accept that, or they're not willing to advance beyond that, there's nothing you can do about it. You can sit there and suffer with them, if you would like, but that's not going to help you or them. But I always share, it's your duty to let everybody else down, as long as you do not let yourself down. So understand that. And it's everybody's duty to do that. And if everybody is not letting their self down, then everybody grows and evolves at a very, very high level. So do that. The best thing that you can do for this realm, for humanity, for your family, is to be the best you. Simple as that. So don't let anything keep you from that, because everything that you've been through is to cultivate that level of being the best you. I often share, that the only way to really mess life up, and I share this all the time, and it seems like it's a dare program or whatever. What up, Lucas? Is drugs. And I mean this because, we all have our divine guidance. We all have this higher part of ourselves. The essence of our spirit is literally God. The only way to literally sever that connection is to jack up your body chemistry, because that's how we communicate with our environment and with God and with the infinite cosmos, because it's all a part of you. You're not separate from it. But if you sever that connection and you're constantly damaging that connection, then that's how you're super subject to the law of rhythm, and your environment will completely rule and regulate you. Other than that, there's no way to mess it up. There's no way to mess it up. Everybody and everything will grow and evolve, and you can slow down your evolution, or you can experience, or you can accelerate your evolution by being that active participant. Says wouldn't play the same role to a point with food. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things. That's why a lot of people, when they get into spiritual practices, in the beginning, it's a really big thing, because our relationship, once again, with what we consume is a sacred thing. When we consume anything mentally, emotionally, physically, it becomes us, right? So in the beginning, if you haven't seen the polarity in how food can rule your thoughts and your emotions and your actions, and damage your literal DNA. Remember, our DNA, our cells, the information within our being. This is how we, relate to our environment. Hey, Tyrant Truth, how you doing? This is how we connect to the cosmos and connect to God. This is our vehicle to do that. So in the beginning, it's very important to understand that relationship, because some people are completely regulated by food. All day, that's all they think about is food. And that's a manifestation of things that aren't brought into balance within themselves. So instead of bringing it into balance, astrally, emotionally, or mentally, boom, it becomes a part of their physical body. Everything, it has a correspondence. Everything that's a part of you. What up, Saya Mahi's Mansa Milan? I apologize if I slaughtered that. But this is why, once again, knowledge of self, knowing yourself, and knowing the correspondence in your being and the parts of you that subconsciously align to certain things. Because it all manifests from something. And when you're in complete balance, in the beginning, you want to go through the extremes. You want to eat healthy. Like for me, I was raw vegan for a very long time, you know, and that served me very well. It helped activate my DNA. It helped do all types of things. And a lot of the extreme practices that people do, you don't have to continue doing your entire experience. They're just ways to get you to bring the spirit up to the surface, to activate your DNA so you can build those connections to a very, very high degree. But some people take it as this is just who and what I am, and they attach to it, and it becomes an attachment. And it becomes a negative. Remember, there's very few things in this reality that are just completely just positive. There's very few things, if any, that is just 100%. It's just going to help you, and there's no negatives that can come with it. You drink too much water, you will die. So it's very few things in this reality that's just 100% just do this and everything's just going to be so there's a balance there, especially when it comes to spiritual practices and stuff too. People fast for all types of reasons. It's a good way to purify the body, to purify the emotions, to purify the mind. The people that take that to the extreme, breatharians. And that to me is weird. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And, we come here to experience being human. So all the spiritual practices and stuff like that, literally, is to get you to see the polarity and how it affects you so you can get to a certain level. But you have to be willing to cross those bridges and not stand on that bridge, because then it becomes an attachment and can be a negative. At the same time, food is one of the, divine pleasures of being in this physical realm. So why would you deny yourself something in which God gave us a sensory system to enjoy the beauty and all the different, types of things that we can enjoy through food, but not to let that thing rule you and to dominate you? because then you become a slave to it. And this is how everything that's in our awareness functions. Don't allow yourself to become dependent on anything external to yourself. So like I said, engaging in those practices in the beginning are high value. They're very, very high value. But you get to a point too in which, you have a different relationship to everything. You're changing your relationship to your environment. And even though you did all the extreme practices in the beginning, holding on to that extreme practice can hurt you, in many different ways. And in the realm of Hermetics, it's literally gaining the awareness of polarity and the vibrational scale, and then transcending all of it, because you're changing your relationship to all these different things, mentally, astrally, and physically, spiritually. And when your relationship is changed to it and you begin to understand it, you literally gain an immunity to the negative aspects of it. You can release it. It doesn't mean you can't eat cake, but when you eat that cake and you engage it in equanimity, you don't have the astral emotional attachment, which is going to allow you to crave that cake over and over and over and over again. And oh my God, I need this cake. I need McDonald's fries and all, and allowing it to rule your awareness. Because all those things that we stick to, it literally binds to the light of your mind. It creates a resonance with it. It creates a tuning fork, and you will find yourself in situations and resonating with people, places, and things that will lead you to that emotional astral attachment. The goal is to be able to develop equanimity so you're grounded and there's no energetic pull. So your mind, your spirit, and your emotions are free of it. And that's how you literally get to, nirvana. And I mean everything, even within Buddhism. I share this all the time. When the monks, learn how to be enlightened, they go to the temple, they practice a million different rituals. There's all types of different meditations and invocations and deities and everything else and energies and stuff that you work with. When they become enlightened, they go out into nature and they forget it all. They let go of all of it. And then they go out in nature, and all the practices are to get you to that space in which you are liberated, and then you transcend that. Don't allow all the practices and stuff and knowledge and things like that led to your liberation keep you in a box, because it will. So this is very, very important to kind of wrap your head around. As a matter of fact, one of my followers said this, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like, Buddhism is a boat to be abandoned, after you become enlightened, and that concept and idea comes from once you are enlightened, and enlightenment means different things to different people. But once your mind is in the space in which nothing is clinging to it, and you can enter into that nirvanic state in which you are literally one with the essence of your spirit and nothing can cling to it, then you can throw all the practices out the door. You go to that space. That's the goal. If you can navigate through life and you're in that nirvanic state and you are one with the cosmos, boom, you go there. Forget all the practices. You might keep certain rituals and stuff like that, but for the most part, you don't do what you began with to stay there. There's no need. That becomes an attachment. So once again, cross your bridges when you get there. Don't stand on those bridges. And this is a very important lesson. Because we stick to certain concepts and ideas and identities, and those identities and concepts and ideas will put you into a box, even though they once liberated you and brought you up to a certain level. They will keep you at that level if you stay attached to them. So very important. Once again, for anybody who wants to learn and practice and to take their evolution to the next level, I have access to all the video libraries, all the Zoom meetings that we have for level 1, level 2 for the Master Key series, and you're training your intuition, you're training your subconscious mind so you become your own teacher. How do you connect to universal consciousness? How do you raise up that vibrational scale? How do you train and reprogram your DNA? How do you reprogram your astral and mental body? Literally your soul and your spirit, and that way you can go through firsthand experience so you can make sense of universal law and dharma, because you can only do it through direct experience. It's a product of the spirit. It's not a product of the intellect. So, check out the link in the bio. If you use the promo code EVOLVE, sign up for the master. Dang, this dude just ran this stop sign and almost got hit by a bus. Don't be him, okay? High level of awareness, bro. Well, that was amazing. So this is the goal, is to, develop yourself. So, this higher mind of ours, this observing mind, the super conscious mind is what dominates our experience and not our physical body. Or this is who is a dude that ran a stop sign and almost allowed a bus to just, T-bone him. That was amazing. Anyway, ground your awareness in this higher mind. It says use what code? It's EVOLVE, EVOLVE. And it'll take $111 off of the price, but you get year-long access to the entire course. We're training your psychic abilities step by step. This is how you do it. You want to train your clairvoyance, clairaudience, want to see in the different realms, put your mind in different spaces, objects, things, and mentally transfer into any frequency in all of creation. This is how you do it. You want to bring the elements into equanimity. That's level 1. And then we go into level 3, and how do we learn from consciousness itself and then become your own teacher. And there's lots of information. There's hundreds of videos, lots of high quality content. And engaging in this practice, it's a very safe, universal way to do it. And we're looking at using, once again, universal law and using it for its peak frequencies and going beyond that so we can get direct results and in a functional way. If you've ever read the Emerald Tablets, everything that's in that is in the course without all the cryptic. It's literally step by step. This is how you do it. There's tons of different practices and teachings and things like that share, that have really interesting ways of conveying information and stuff like that. Most of it is not necessary to try to wrap your head around. But through this, you're gaining an intellectual and intuitive pathway to develop yourself. And with that balance, everything becomes very easy. And it's a self-guided thing. You start to activate your internal guidance system, and literally your intuition begins to guide you on a much higher level. So if anybody's interested, check the link in the bio. Use the promo code EVOLVE. Use the PayPal link, I think, because I think somebody said that they had trouble trying to use the regular debit Wix thing. But it's life-changing. It's one of the most liberating things that you could possibly learn. It is the most liberating thing that you could possibly learn, how to develop your intuition. So it's always working for you, not against you. Because remember, your intuition is not always correct. If you have not purified your chi, purified your astral body, your belief structures, the realms in which you inhabit, and you're filled with delusion, or you're filled with, these lower ways of viewing things, or stuck in these astral relationships, then your intuition is going to give you information based off of that. Remember, you can only be sensitive to your highest level of awareness, and the goal is to raise that level of awareness up to a non-dual state, and then even transcend that. So that you have that direct non-dual connection, and that's the realm of perfect ideals. It's not the realm of astral subjectivity. So that's the goal. Nicole says, I've had so much adventure flowing through me since coming back. Yeah, Sedona was powerful. Oh yeah, and even with that, for anybody who's interested in joining, I have another workshop that's in September. So in September, it's the actual initiation to Hermetics workshop. This one is going to be like a 6-night, 7-day workshop in Sedona, and we're doing all the practices from the ground up together, among like a lot of extra practices. And there's plenty of places of power in which we can go to hit certain peak frequencies and practicing as a group. So it's a life-changing experience. We have our private chef. We're not going to be in the same space that we went to this last time, but there's private rooms, there's shared rooms, it's all types of stuff going on. So if you're interested, check out the link in the bio for that. If you have any questions about that, you can message me. There's payment plans and all types of stuff that go with it. So just sharing that, and the course is included with that one too. It says, how do you bypass any false delusions? Can you do it with the pendulum and by raising up the spirit? You can. You most definitely can. Remember, when you are engaging your pendulum, or using an oracle to read the akasha, where your awareness is matters. If you're paying attention to your astral body, then you're going to get answers from the astral. It's going to be subjective. It's going to be, if you haven't done the purification aspect or whatever, and you have limiting belief structures, it's going to be in relation to that too. But the highest thing is to raise up into your observing mind, and allow your observing mind to give you the answer. And that's a pretty good way to gauge the correct answers. Other than that, ground your awareness in that. TikTok's trying to make sure that I'm still here. Once again, grounding your awareness in the highest states that you achieve. And we kind of talked about grounding yesterday. So grounding means different things, but in order for you to raise up the vibrational scale, ground your awareness into these high states of awareness. You might have a spiritual experience in which you feel really liberated. You might get blissed out a little bit and kind of like leave your body a bit, and you might even touch a heaven realm and leave your body. But how do you take ownership of that? If you are staying in the state of bliss, which is nothing wrong with that, indulge in the bliss of what you're feeling, but you want to take ownership of that state of being and bring it into equanimity. You want to pay attention to it, bring it into stillness, and equalize with it. And all the teachings and understanding that come with that level and that state of mind, it becomes you've equalized with it. And that's the goal. In order for you to take ownership of your spiritual experiences and higher states of consciousness, you have to be able to ground yourself within it. And that's the goal. So developing high levels of awareness, allowing your mind to be grounded within the akasha, allows you to do that at a much higher degree. So you're not always getting just blissed out and leaving your body all the time. You want to equalize with all these different expanded states of consciousness, because that's how you take ownership of it. If you're experiencing this and you're going into the state of rapture and you're just bliss and you don't take ownership of it, it'll be like, that was a really cool experience, and you won't get the benefit of it from it, not to the degree in which you deserve. So very important to develop awareness of that. Any other questions before I go? Once again, for everybody that's here, check out the link in the bio. If you want to get deep and really, pick my brain about some stuff, you can always book a one-on-one. I even lowered the price for the people don't believe in stop signs around here. This is crazy. You can book a quantum healing session. I lowered the price on that. Once again, if you want to join the course, that option is there. If you use the promo code EVOLVE, like I said, I think it's like 1 or 2 uses left for that promo code, so it takes an extra $111 off the already 50% off price. Use the PayPal option. If you want to join me in Sedona for a really, really amazing, life-changing workshop, it's September. I don't remember the exact date, but it's like a 7-day workshop. The course is included with that. My book, Alchemy of a Happy Life, is included with that, and it's life-changing. Know yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, have the courage to raise yourself up to the next level and to break through your barriers, because that's what allows you to liberate yourself. Remember, the fear, the feelings, the limitations, they're not real. They're just things that we accept and allow to keep our mind in a box. So you want to be able to transcend that, so you can have a very high level experience and enrich your life and the lives of the people around you. Once you learn how to alchemize that within yourself, you can do that with other people. And, we begin to raise the collective. Looking at some of these comments, any recommended books, bro? So my favorite books to recommend, and this kind of sets up the pathway for you to alchemize your experience. If you don't want to go really deep into, you know, training your intuition to a very, very high degree, or going through all the different magical traditions and practices and stuff like that, the first one is Florence Scovel Shinn. She has like 3 or 4 books that she wrote. I think she wrote 5 all together. You can find one of her books on Amazon, and it has like 3 in 1. So her first book is The Game of Life and How to Play It. Second one is The Word is Your Wand, and then the third one is like The Secret Door to Success, and then the fourth one is The Magical Path of Intuition. And life changing. You know, if you can follow that psychology in which she uses her way with words, and understand how to program the subconscious mind, and how, you know, your words create your reality, and not just in the general sense in which most people kind of accept. It's a literal thing. Remember that, you know, the essence of your spirit is God. In the beginning, it was what? You know, some people say it was the Word. What's the Word of God? Right? If the essence of your spirit is God, then the Word of God is everything that is emanating from your mind. Everything that comes out of your mouth is literally sending out life force and sending out vibrations and information into the ethers for that wave of energy to come back and vibrate, and to create a resonance, a tuning fork for what your experience is. So, you know, understanding the power of your thoughts. And I even share, you know, understanding enchantment, right? It's the inner talk of your mind. If you want to break down the etymology, it's the inner talk of your mind. And this is what your experience becomes. And yeah, the audiobooks for Florence Scovel Shinn, there's plenty of them. The Master Key Society has a couple of her books on there. Brian Scott has a few of her books on his YouTube channel. There's a couple of them on Spotify. The ones on Spotify, the people that read them aren't the greatest, but I highly suggest the Master Key Society on YouTube, and to use the you know, check those out. And then Brian Scott has a couple commentaries and readings of Florence Scovel Shinn's work. Other books is The Science of Getting Rich and The Science of Being Great, by Wallace D. Wattles. If you read any other books, read these books. Listen to these audiobooks. And if you live by the wisdom that's within it, you will have a very, very, you know, happy, joyful experience. I promise you. If you did nothing else, you know, you will alchemize your experience. And it's all about, once again, what we accept and what we believe on a subconscious level. How do we tune into a specific concept and idea? How do we create the tuning fork for our experience? Says I missed the books. What were they? Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life and How to Play It. Her book, Your Word is Your Wand. Her book, The Magical Path of Intuition, and then The Secret Door to Success. Any one of those, start with The Game of Life, How to Play It, and it's all there. You know, the other books that I suggest are Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, and The Science of Being Great. In that order. The Science of Getting Rich is the first one. The Science of Being Great is the second one. If you can go through these books, if you can live out the concepts and ideas of these books, I promise you, your life will be different. And you know, it's very, very powerful. And you know, it's funny too, because I know a lot of people have a lot of religious you know, aversion, because you know, a lot of us grew up Christian, and you know, all of the universal knowledge is even within the Bible. That's what Christ consciousness is. It's universal knowledge, you know, and it's some of the highest knowledge. So both of them even give, you know, a lot of Bible quotes and stuff like that, because that's what is in the Bible, universal knowledge. You know, so the esoteric Christian mystic understanding, this is what they're giving, the metaphysical understandings of the teachings too. So they relate a lot of it to the Bible and to Christ's teachings, because it's all there. It's literally all there. And one of the things, we originally started talking about, how do we reach non-duality? Non-duality is a state of mind, and not a state of mind that's something that you can just switch to. It's the literal frequency and mind substance in which you're cultivating. So your mind goes from being at this lower dualistic state, and the literal energy and mind substance of your spirit, the light of your mind, is raising in frequency, and this changes your entire experience. And in order for you to fully understand the universal teachings within the Bible or any other spiritual system, you have to be willing to raise up that vibrational scale. You have to be willing to do that, and that's what you're cultivating. It's not as simple as, oh, I just think this and that's it, or, oh, I'm just thinking I'm non-dual, or I have certain non-dual. You have to truly transform your spirit, and you do this through attentive awareness and concentration. That's what Vipassana Samadhi is. You're single pointed, concentrated on something until that thing becomes a part of your spirit and raises you up to the next level. The physics of your mind is whatever you pay attention to, you vibrationally match it, and your mind becomes that, to the point in which it then transcends that thing in order to make more sense of it and understand it. So these books are a good way to get you there, and very, very easy to understand terms and concepts. So yeah, it says, do I separate my ego by putting it to work? You have to understand it. Understand your ego, because especially in the beginning of people's experiences and their spiritual development. And I don't think anybody here is at the beginning of their their development. I don't think you would be here if you were at the very, very beginning. And a lot of these things we know in spirit, we know intuitively. But the ego, once again, yes, you work with your ego. You're reprogramming your ego. Your astral ego is how we experience life. So programming your astral ego to work for you. Remember, your astral ego, it consists of your belief structures. It consists of your attachments, your aversions, your delusions, the way that you label your experience. And this is what gives you your physical, emotional experiences is your astral ego. So being able to alchemize and to change these parts of yourself changes your entire reality. And I mean that. Life can be as magical as you want it to be, or it can be as mundane and as physical and as hard as you want it to be. And that's a product of your ego. It's a product of your astral belief structures. And that's what we're alchemizing here. So if you want to learn how to do it at a very, very fast rate, check out the link in the bio. It says, what does your course all teach? Oh, many, many things. And for some of you guys that's in the course, feel free, share your experience and your concept and your idea and the benefits that you got out of it, because there's lots of people in here who are currently in the course or who have taken the course. But it's essentially, how do you train your intuition? How do you train your psychic abilities? How do you develop equanimity mentally, astrally, physically, so you can have the inner environment in which ascension is possible? Because you cannot fully ascend if you don't have the level of equanimity in which you need. From there, you become more sensitive to the more subtle aspects of creation. So how do you become more sensitive to your vital, astral, mental, spiritual, akashic, and non-dual light bodies, and work with them together and individually? How do you separate the three bodies? How do you see your own astral stuff? How do you directly influence and change your astral body? And it gets deep. It's a lot deeper than that. Like in the course, it's literally hundreds of videos. Level 1 is mastering the elements. How do you master your relationship between air, fire, water, and earth on the astral level to develop that equanimity and become immune to the negatives of each one of the elements? Level 2 is how do you train your psychic abilities? Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, mental transference, mental wandering, all these different, cities or skills in which we use so we can become more sensitive to the formless aspects of creation. There's no way you can possibly understand universal law or dharma if you do not have firsthand experience of what it is. This is why most people don't understand, the Buddha's teachings or even Jesus Christ's teachings, because you have to experience it firsthand. You cannot do that if you have no way to experience things that aren't intellectual. You have to experience it in in spirit. It's a product of the spirit, not a product of the intellect. So it's all different levels of skill. So you gain higher levels of awareness of your vital energy, vital body. Reprogram your DNA, transform that energy into astral energy. You become sensitive to your astral body, and you can reprogram your astral body. Take that energy, raise it to your mental body. You gain a type of mental spiritual strength. You use that level of awareness and equanimity to go into the Akasha, and you learn how to ground your awareness into the Akasha and work with Akasha. Boom. And through the Akasha, you begin working with light, and there's a relationship there. And then you can use this to elevate your whole experience in many, 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 many different ways. You begin to understand yourself, your environment, life on a level in which most people in which you will ever meet will not have that. And it's life changing. And all of this is so you are becoming your own teacher. None of this is so you follow me around for a decade. And no, I teach masters. My whole course is to teach masters, so you become a master. That's what it means to be a master teacher. I've mastered it to the point in which I can create other masters, so you guys become masters and you can do your master teacher thing, or just do it in your path of service. And literally life becomes easy. You become more psychic. You begin to change your relationship with time and space to the point in which you begin to operate outside of time and space. And it's a literal thing. And it's beautiful, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's a universal system. I've taught people from all over the world, from many different traditions and religions, and it's beautiful. So you take the knowledge, the information, you apply it, you make life your practice, and you make it your own, so you can share it with other people. I teach it in the sense of this is Hermetic alchemy and magic, but you can teach it in any way. This is golf. This is cooking. This is whatever it is. And it becomes super duper powerful. And it's life changing, And like I said, once you start to do this within yourself, you can alchemize and change the experiences of other people, and in many different ways. And it's beautiful. And like I said, I don't know if you were here when people were sharing their experience. I didn't even get to see what people wrote. Jay said the shorter list to answer would be what doesn't the course teach. That's funny. It's absolutely life changing. Jessica says it's been amazing. Yeah, and it's beautiful. So like I said, if you want to join, it's a year-long thing too. So you get year-long access to all the video content. There's there's Zoom meetings, there's additional content and lectures and practices. You also get year-long access to the Zoom meetings. For the most part, it's like 2 Zoom meetings a week, Saturday and Sundays at 9 a.m. where we're doing group practices and Q&A. And the benefit of practicing with the group is the power of the group helps accelerate you in a level in which you cannot do by yourself. And that's one of the most beautiful things is we have this community. Also, check out the link in the bio for the Discord. It's literally, a lot of the practitioners are in there. We have an app in which you can download, and you have easy access to all the videos and all the Zoom meetings and stuff like that. And it's beautiful, It says, does humility play into all this knowledge and use of it? The mystics focus on God, not self. So there's levels to it, right? There's levels to it. In order for you to touch the essence of your spirit, there has to be a high level of humility. Whenever you go into a state of prayer, right? Prayer is the quickest way in order for you to access equanimity. And the moment you go into that state of prayer, you instantly go into a state of humility. You're submitting yourself to something higher to you. In Hermetics, you're submitting yourself into the highest part of yourself. You're not separate from God. The essence of your spirit is that. You're not the entire universe. You are not, in a sense, we're all connected, but the essence of your spirit is God. And in order to touch that, yes, it's a natural state of humility that comes over you. And everything that I teach is how do you develop high levels of the 4 divine abodes, so you can touch that essence of your spirit. And humility is an aspect of it, just naturally. In the beginning, it's very easy for you to be kind of judgmental and stuff like that, because once again, you start to see your own stuff in ways that you couldn't see it before. And then you start to see other people's stuff. So it's really easy to be kind of judgmental and stuff like that. But just naturally through correct practice, you gain a really deep type of compassion and understanding. And then you'll want to seek to help everybody, because as you raise up the vibrational scale, you're going from the personified experience to a more universal mind experience, where, you know, the essence of your spirit, the frequency of your spirit goes into a non-dual state in which you are literally connected to all that is. You are, the essence of your spirit is God, you know, and that's Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. That pretty much sums up the entire Hermetic path. Is stillness, you know, cultivates insight and understanding and connection, and through that stillness you connect to the essence of your spirit, which is a vibrational match to the universal mind, you know. And, you know, it's not to say that as you continue to grow and evolve, will you have a very high level of awareness and understanding and knowledge, and have, you know, connection to all that is. Yes. But you do not know everything, you know. You do not know everything, but you'll know pretty much everything you need to know in your path of service and your path of ascension. And you'll be able to look at any information, any concepts, any ideas, any person, and be able to recognize the light of that thing and get direct insight and understanding and what it means on a universal level. So source is not outside of us. That is hard to switch to because of religion. So let me give you a concept to kind of understand, right? I get tripped up with fear of opening to knowledge I shouldn't have. And that's the trap. That's the trap. And when we talk about the vibrational scale of liberation and how to liberate your mind, you know, there's all types of systems and religions out there that tell you not to use your mind. Your mind and your spirit is the same thing. Your mind and your spirit is the same thing. The essence of your mind is source. It's God, essentially, right? The dualistic religions that seek to control you tell you to put the blinders on, to trust them, and not to use your own connection to your divinity. Trust them so they can tell you how to use it, and that's inherently evil, you know, for you not to be able to follow your intuition. Remember, your intuition literally means to learn from within and above. Tuition means to learn from above. In literally means from within. It's literally to learn from within and above. It's your connection to your divinity. So, you know, there's a lot of doctrine and religions out there that would tell you not to do that, you know, not to question that. And that's the primary way in which universal intelligence, or God, source, communicates with you, through your intuition. So developing that to a very high degree is the goal. So you're getting deeper connections. So that higher part of you is always guiding you, and that's what dominates your experience, and not the, you know, your physical experiences, not your astral belief structures or anything like that. Is coming into resonance with the light of your mind and then spirit. So, you know, another way to wrap your head around, you know, what source or God is, you know, consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Everything is energy. Everything is light. Everything is connected. There's nothing that's separate from source. What is your concept and idea of the Most High, right? What is your concept and idea of God? If God is infinite intelligence, which permeates all things, is omnipotent, is omnipresent, is within and without of all things and all of creation, what is that? What's your idea and concept of that, right? Going from duality to non-duality, if you believe in a God that is, you know, omnipotent and is the source of all things, then there is no way possible that there could be something that can oppose this omnipotent, omnipresent force. If you believe that there is something external to you that is out to get you, then that's just a level in which, a realm in which you want to dwell in. It's a realm of duality. It's a hell realm. It's a concept of mind that won't serve you. But there's no way that there could be two powers. And this is something I've kind of covered in this live stream too, is that, you know, people submit themselves to a lot of astral concepts and ideas and stuff. And every religious system is an astral thing. It's an astral organization that has a physical manifestation. And everything within the astral is subjective. It's not real, essentially. People use their astral awareness to raise up their vibrational scale, but all those astral things you want to be able to let go of. You want to raise your awareness to non-dual light, or to the essence of your spirit, or to God, in which you can use that level of awareness to navigate and to see things on that universal level, because there is no duality within the universal mind. Even on the lower level, you can look at, say you have a literal demon, right? If you've ever read the Apocrypha, and you've read the Key of Solomon, and he's literally listing out the different demons. This demon makes you feel this. This demon teaches you this. This demon gives you the urge to this. If you didn't have that demon, you wouldn't be able to see it, to understand it, and to transcend it. And that is also God. Everything is God. But if you were to stay attached to that demon and allow that demon to rule you, then you're just allowing something external to your divine nature to dominate your experience. So everything that we go through, even our traumas, make us a better person. And it's all God. It's all part of infinite intelligence. But the goal is to raise your level of awareness to the highest, to that non-dual state, and to transcend that, so you can understand non-duality and universal intelligence, or infinite intelligence, for what it is, and not to stick to any of those lower levels of understanding and experience. I hope this answered your question. So that helps so much. I think getting entangled within knowledge is what I need to see. My ego won't. For what I teach and my understanding of it, everybody's here for a reason. This is why, once again, you'll probably never see hundreds of people in my lives, because not everybody, is at the level in which they can have that bridge of understanding and take direct action into implementing this knowledge, right? Some people, it might be like, okay, that's a bit much, or whatever, this dude is crazy, or whatever. But we're all here because it resonates with you and you understand it. And even me saying it, I'm sure it's a part of your spirit that's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yes, your intuition, the part of you that is God, is like, yeah, this is we're at that bridge in which we can take advantage of this information and use it to get to where we need to go. And some people haven't been through the traumas and the lower aspects and all the astral stuff to fully make sense of it. You have to have those bridges of understanding. And for anybody who has a true interest in Hermetics and this type of spiritual development, you've been a very high level being before in the past. Nobody gets into Hermetics that hasn't already been a shaman, a priest, a preacher, a monk, a literal deity. This is not beginner level, spiritual work and understanding. So, even within it, somebody asked a couple benefits of the course or whatever too. Literally your ability to go through the Akasha and to bring, past life skills and awareness and tendencies up to the surface. It's there. Like I said, this is not beginner level spiritual work. This is something that you've been cultivating for many, many incarnations, and you can have access to all that knowledge, wisdom, insight, and understanding, past, present, and future, because it's a part of your Akashic nature. The Akasha is infinite. It's infinite intelligence. It's source, which all things are vibrating in and out of. And that's why when people say, I'm looking into the Akashic records or the Akashic library, the Akasha, or infinite intelligence, is formless substance, which in all things emanate from. And this is why in the Bible they say, in the beginning there was, the void, right? And then from that, or it came the word, or it came light, right? And then all the other creations that came from that. So everything comes from the Akasha. And then we have light, or formless, coming into form, and then form going into yin and yang, and then yin and yang, positive, negative, masculine, feminine, going into the elements, fire, air, water, and earth. And from fire, air, water, and earth comes, an infinite amount of polarity and duality, which gives us our physical experience. But the goal is to raise your level of awareness back to that stillness and that non-dual light, so you can experience the stillness of creation and source, which is the essence of your spirit, and ground your awareness in that, so you can have a more universal, magical, beautiful experience. And that's the goal, So yeah, I think that's all I got for today. It's getting hot. It got to be about 100 degrees out here now. Like, no kidding. So once again, for anybody that's interested, check out the link in the bio if you would like to join the course. Use the promo code EVOLVE, EVOLVE. It'll take like $111 off of the already 50% off price. I think there's only like 2 uses left for that code. So if you want to take advantage of it, once again, get year-long access to all the video libraries, the group practices, to the group Zoom meetings, and it's life-changing. It's beautiful, So that's solar firework in a day for sure. If you want to pick my brain, once again, you check out the link in the bio. Check services. You can book a one-on-one. Check out the Discord. We have a beautiful community within there. The code is EVOLVE. It's EVOLVE. And like I said, use the PayPal option if you can, because some people said that they've had trouble using like the regular Wix debit card, credit card thing. There's also afterpay options too. If you're super duper interested in learning and practicing together, in September we have this Sedona 7-day workshop, which is initiation to Hermetics, where we're doing all the foundational practices where you will leave a changed person. Your subconscious alignment will go from wherever you're at to that of the archetype of the magician, and be very, very powerful, because we're practicing in a powerful place at a very powerful time with a group of powerful people. And that's open to past students too, as well as people who are interested now. And the course is also included in that. And there's like an early bird special that's a part of that too. So other than that, I thank you guys for joining me. I hope everybody has a very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you guys later.